Welcome to Animated Movie Recap. Today we will be discussing a movie called Klaus. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The film opens with a letter being delivered. We follow the letter through the postal system until it reaches the Royal Postal Academy drill sergeant. It's a summons to Jesper Johansson. Jesper's father, the head of the academy, has enrolled Jesper to teach him responsibility. Jesper is a selfish brat who prefers to spend his time lounging in his tent. The drill sergeant deems Jesper's performance poor. He is very careless about delivering mail. His father suspects that Jesper is deliberately doing this to get a different punishment. He announces that Jesper has been made a postman and stationed at a small village called Smirensburg. He gives him an ultimatum: deliver 6,000 letters within a year, or he will be cut from the family. Smirensburg is a depressingly cold and gray place. When Jesper arrives, the sarcastic ferryman Mogens tells him to ring the bell in the town square to receive a welcome reception. A huge brawl breaks out among the townspeople when he does this. It turns out that the bell is called the Battle Bell. The town is divided into two clans, the Crumbs and the Ellingboes. They have been fighting with each other for years. Jesper can hide in a nearby building. He meets Miss Alva Jones, a school teacher. Parents refuse to send their children to school. They don't want their kids interacting with the opposite clan, so she's been forced to sell fish. She has been working hard to save her income so that she can leave Smirensburg. The ferryman finds Jesper and takes him to the abandoned post office full of chickens and snow. Jesper is called a loser by a boy who is sledding nearby. Jesper sets out the next morning to find letters, but he doesn't find any. Jesper tries to ask locals for their mail, but they are too busy fighting and playing pranks on each other. At one house, a young boy's drawing lands at Jesper's feet. The boy offers to mail it back, but his father chases him away. Jesper still has no luck. 2 weeks later, he hasn't yet tried the house of Mr. Klaus, a woodsman who lives far from town. Jesper decides to enter the home. Even though it is empty, he finds hundreds of handmade toys in the basement. Klaus returns, and Jesper runs, dropping his bag. The boy's drawing from earlier falls out, and Klaus picks it up, curious. Jesper tries to leave Smirensburg, but Klaus stops him. He wants to know the whereabouts of the boy. Jesper takes him to the boy's house, but the package Klaus wants him to leave is too big for the mailbox, and the yard is full of traps. He ends up being launched up and down into the chimney. Courtesy of Klaus, Jesper leaves the present and runs off. But Klaus remains behind to watch the boy open the gift and play with the toy. Jesper wakes up the next morning to find several children around his home. The boy told everybody about Klaus' visit, and they were all eager to send him letters asking for toys. Jesper starts to hand out pencils and paper to the children immediately and encourages them to make their letters sound sad. He makes a chart and hangs it on the wall to keep track of the number of letters he has delivered. Jesper goes back to Klaus' house, where Klaus hangs birdhouses from the trees. He gives him letters and convinces Klaus to donate his toys from his basement. Klaus agrees. A little girl joins the boy as he plays with his toy in their yard. Their parents notice this and quickly separate them as they come from different clans. The children are taken to the clan leaders Ellingbo and Crumb. The children are informed that clans are not supposed to mix, and that tradition is why they fight. The kids promise it won't happen again. Crumb is skeptical. The word spreads among the children about Klaus, how he descends the chimney at night to leave toys behind, and that he loves cookies. Jesper was the one who delivered the presents. While Klaus tagged along, Jesper realizes the boy who threw a snowball at him from earlier lives there at one of the houses and leaves a lump of coal in his stocking. Margot, a Sami girl, attempts to ask Jesper for a present at the post office, but since she doesn't know English, Jesper dismisses her request. He hears from a few children that they don't know how to write, so he sends them to Alva, since Alva is the schoolteacher. Alva isn't happy about this development, but she's very close to being able to leave. The children insist on learning how to write their names, so she begins taking money from her savings for school supplies. Jesper's horse is unable to pull the wagon anymore because of all the presents. Klaus decides to get some reindeer from nearby, which speeds up the wagon's speed. Snowball boy and demands to know why he has been receiving coal instead of gifts. Jesper tells the Snowball boy that Klaus sees all the children's actions and that they won't get presents if they're naughty. In the hope of remaining in Klaus' good graces, the children do good deeds. They help their neighbors and clean up the town. Their acts of kindness inspire adults to do so as well. Alva can stop selling fish and begin teaching. The town soon becomes happier, and everyone gets along. However, Crumb and Ellingbo aren't pleased with the changes. They know Jesper is to blame and must be stopped. Klaus is pleased to hear that the town is improving. He says, "A truly selfless act always ignites another." Jesper is not convinced. He believes that everyone wants to win something. They are attempting to be ambushed by Ellingbo, Crumb, but Klaus manages to steer them away. The wagon's wheels are lost, and the wagon ends up tumbling over a cliff. The reindeer and sleigh are visible from the boy's window. Rumors spread the next day that Klaus had flying reindeer. He laughs for the first time. Crumb and Ellingbo decide to meet in the town square at night. All the good deeds have caused their clan numbers to shrink. Crumb suggests a temporary truce to put an end to Klaus. Ellingbo agrees, and the two of them shake hands. Temporarily, the truce is broken. However, someone accidentally rings battle bell, which sparks another brawl. Jesper sees their toys are getting low. Jesper gets the idea of making a large Christmas delivery. Klaus can also make more. Klaus says he no longer does this, but Jesper insists that Klaus' house can be transformed into a workshop. He accidentally discovers a woodsman's decorative shelf, his wife, and several empty holes. In his excitement, Klaus angrily orders Jesper to go. Jesper returns to the post office and finds Margot waiting for him. He finally takes Margot to Alva to write Klaus a letter in English. She would like a sled that has a sail. Jesper takes the letter to Klaus' house and begins to build it. However, it is very unfinished. Klaus eventually shows compassion and offers to help him. They bring the present to Margot's village, just a few miles away from town. They leave it outside Margot's tent. Jesper remains behind with Klaus to watch her unwrap the present and play with it with her parents. Klaus returns to the house and talks about his wife, Lydia. They left the village to start a family. He began making toys while they waited. Unfortunately, Lydia died from an illness, and they did not have children. Because of Lydia's love for birds, he continued to build birdhouses. Klaus thanks Jesper for bringing back the joy in his life and decides that he will continue with the Christmas plan, even planning the future. Jesper is reluctant because he wants to leave Smeerensburg, but he can't bring himself to tell Klaus the truth. He stops at the schoolhouse to be surprised to see Miss Alva transformed. Alva even spent all of her savings. He is greeted by Miss Alva, who shows him the town square, decorated in Christmas spirit and where all the residents are mingling with each other. Ellingbo, Crumb, and their accomplices break into the post office and discover Jesper's letter delivery chart. They start making fake letters and then put them on Morgan's boat. As he receives all outgoing mail, Margot invites her whole village to Klaus' workshop in preparation for the big event. Jesper brings Alva along to the workshop and begins to think about settling down in Smeerensburg. Christmas Eve is here. The Sami village has remodeled Klaus's sleigh, and Klaus is now wearing a red outfit. Jesper's father arrives to break the good mood. Crumb and Ellingbo invited him because they have received over 14,000 letters. He has now been able to go home because he kept his word. Alva and Klaus are shocked to discover the truth about Jesper's intentions. Morgan informs Jesper's father at the docks that Jesper is the first postal worker to leave Smeerensburg unhappily. Usually, the postman that leaves ate the happiest. Margot arrives a little too late to the docks, but Jesper isn't on the boat. He was able to stay after telling his father the truth. He notices clans carrying torches up the mountainside towards Klaus' home. The clans arrive to take down the sleigh as it is loaded with presents. The kids will stop getting toys and start fighting, which will lead to the grown-ups having to fight once more. Jesper leaps onto the sleigh to try and escape, but it's not connected, so they continue downhill. The clans chase after them down the hillside. Klaus refuses help, as he is still mad at Jesper. The bag is torn, and toys start falling out. Jesper desperately tries to close the bag while apologizing. Pumpkin, Crumb's gargantuan daughter, nearly falls to her death, but Olaf, Ellingbo's son, saves her. Jesper stops the sleigh's descent over the cliff. The presents still fall, though, as Ellingbo continues to rip the bag. Ellingbo claims that the town will continue to be miserable so long as they are in control. Jesper disagrees. A true act of kindness always ignites another. Pumpkin and Olaf, to the shock of their parents, are not enemies anymore. it turns out the presents on the sleigh were just logs of firewood covered in wrapping paper. The actual presents were safe and soundly returned to the workshop. Alva learned about the plan after the children told her at school. She then told Klaus. Jesper and Klaus are officially forgiven and leave to deliver the gifts. Christmas morning arrives, and the children are eager to open their gifts. Jesper and Klaus sat on a nearby hill and listened. Smearensburg continues to prosper. Pumpkin and Olaf marry, making Crumb and Ellingbo their in-laws. Alva and Jesper marry, and they have 2 children later. The current operation of Klaus continues to grow. Jesper and Klaus are still friends 12 years later when Klaus leaves to be with his wife. The epilogue sees Jesper kissing his children and Alva goodnight and sitting at the fireplace next to the Christmas tree. He hears the sound of sleigh bells and smiles, ready to see his old friend. With this movie ends, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed it.